Well, this is my biggest deer ever. It's a deer I call the General.
The General? That's what you call it?
I shot him in 2019. He weighed 193 pounds and he scored 124, I think the plaque says. Really, it's not a great story, but it's a good story.
No,
if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense.
This deer, it was mid-November. It was like a week into rifle season.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a spot, it's kind of like a community spot. Like all my friends hunt there, I've hunted there forever. It's one of these spots that everybody knows about. I got to the spot a little late. I wanted to get there earlier and get up into the woods before sunup. And when I pulled in, the spot, there's like this old driveway up to this abandoned house. And I got there, there was fresh deer tracks going up the driveway. So I was like, and normally what we do is we'd drive up to this abandoned house and we'd park there, then we'd go off into the woods.
Now, was this regular rifle season? Or
this was regular rifle season.
Okay.
There's these fresh tracks going up, and so I was like, the deer could be up by this abandoned house right now, so I'm just going to park right here and go up in. So I shut off my truck, and I started walking up in real slowly, and I got about halfway up this driveway, maybe 100 yards from my truck. And I turned around, and I heard clip, clop, clip, clop, clip, clop. Sounded just like a horse running down the road.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what is that? And I turned around and I see this deer running down the road behind my truck.
Oh my God.
And I was like, that's one of the biggest deer I've ever seen. And he's standing right in the middle of the road where I can't shoot him.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of stuck here watching him. And so I watch him, and on the opposite side of the road was posted. And so I was like, oh, he's just going to go over there. I'll never fucking see him again. What I think happened was, so like I said, when I pulled in, there was deer tracks going up.
Right.
I think that those tracks must have been doe tracks. And then I pulled in between when the does came up in and when this buck that was following them showed up. He ran down the road, and when he got to my truck, he stopped and he just kept looking at it like he wasn't expecting it. You know how a dog sometimes will tilt its head sideways? I swear to God he was doing that. He was just like looking at my truck just...
That must be the universal sign of what the fuck's happening?
Yeah.
What's going on?
He just kept looking at my truck, and so I can't shoot him, obviously. He's in the middle of the road. You know, that's highly illegal. He kind of walks towards my truck, and he's sniffing it. And I'm like, this is fucking ridiculous. This is one of the biggest deer I've ever seen in my entire life, and he's sniffing my truck right now, and I can't shoot him. Eventually, he walks kind of away from my truck, but he keeps looking at it like, you know, he's very unsure of himself at this point. You know, he was super horned up chasing these does, which, like I said, I think is what happened. Now he just doesn't know. And so he does this circle around it, and I'm like, and I'm just kind of watching him. I was like, and then it came to me, I was like, I'm 300 feet away from a house right now. I'm far enough away from the road right now. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's any reason why I can't shoot him. And there was a bend in the road right after where he was down here. There's a bend in the road. Right. And I was like, I still don't want to shoot at him when the road's the backdrop, because if I miss, I fucking bounce a bullet right off the road. Yeah. And that looks bad too. It doesn't just look bad, it is bad. So he kind of curves...
Technicalities.
So he curves up in and eventually gets to a point where the backdrop isn't the road anymore. It's woods. And he's maybe 80 yards away from me, and I shot him, and he dropped right in his tracks.
Holy shit. What gun were you using?
I was using my 30-06. I shot him right here. Right there.
Nice.
Right there in the old necky. Kind of a bullshit hunting story. You know, not the kind of way...
That's not hunting.
Right. It's not really hunting, but I'll take him how I can get him.
Right. I wouldn't know what the fuck to do. If I was in that situation, I'd be like, what the fuck?
Oh, I was purely dumbfounded. I didn't know what to do.
And what the fuck was that?
And the funniest part was, like, where I shot him. Like I said, everything was perfectly legal about this hunt. But if you would have driven by after I shot him, you would have just seen a guy holding a deer, like, not very far off the road. It would have looked so bad. It would have
looked very sketchy.
It would have looked like I pulled up the road and shot him right from my truck. I've got better stories as far as, like, the actual quality of the hunt and stuff like that. But as far as just story. Like, what the fuck was that story? That's probably it. I got my New Hampshire Skull and Trophy Club patch on my on my hunting jacket.
Oh shit.
He was big enough. I think you got to score above 120, and he scored 124. So
how dumb of him.
I know.
How horny must he?
He must have been.
You don't get that big by being dumb.
No.